and accredited for 12 months when I was diagnosed with lung cancer. And even though I had done a lot of work with journey work, my journey's been a very long one. I was still closed. I was still, I was still opening. And a family issue arose, huge. And when I did that journey on myself that day, went straight into the cancer, and I was overwhelmed, totally overwhelmed physically, with the feeling that I had felt like I had deserved to be punished and that I was responsible for other people's pain just come whooshing. And so I dealt with that and actually resolved the issue that had brought it with one of my daughters, that I was able to resolve that. I was able to ring her after my journey and able to relieve her. I felt like that was it then. I felt I was drained and yet surrendered totally. And then I set about then making a decision to have the operation, because I knew that I was physically debilitated and that I had used a lot of resources up in support. And so I made a decision to have the operation then. So I had part of my lung removed. And we do know that what I had done had made a difference. And I didn't have any clotting, I had no infection. And what I did find, that part of the recovery, the biggest part of the recovery was physically. It took a long time, but still now, I'm still recovering. But the after effects of all the journeys that I had, and it was really interesting because I couldn't do anything. I had to sit in it as it came. As the emotional stuff came up, I had to sit in it because I couldn't run, or I couldn't go anywhere, I couldn't make myself busy. And so my life has changed immensely.
Being trained as a traditional psychiatrist, I had done a lot of traditional prescribing meds, therapy, had been in therapy myself, working on myself, doing things. And then I got cancer in '91 and also lost 2 friends at that time to cancer. And that probably catapulted me into more of a spiritual quest. Why are we here? What are we doing? And doing more personal growth work. I think that people run from their emotions. And, a lot of times people will say they feel anxious, or they'll eat, or they'll escape with television or the new car, just running from their feelings. And you don't even realize that you're doing that. It's just, I'm bored. But underneath they might have a feeling that they're not addressing. And once you really can tap into your emotions and really connect with them, empty them out, I mean, if it's anger or fear or whatever, and really heal and connect with that on a, from whether it's childhood trauma or trauma that happened a year ago or 6 months ago. If you can really connect with the feelings associated with it and really empty it out, that's where healing takes place. And I always say to have compassion, gratitude, and forgiveness and love are the key ingredients. And I always incorporate that in all my journey work. And I know that Brandon talks about forgiving, and I always add compassion and gratitude. So I think they're very important as well.
When I heard statistics like at best it was 50-50 chance that the leukemia would come back, that was such a stored cellular memory. When in my first journey process, my intention was to clear that fear. And I did, because it was just created by one memory of when the doctor told me there was at best, given the severity of my case, that there was a 50-50 chance that it would come back. And when I heard that, I was in the hospital and not feeling well, going through chemotherapy, and all I did, what I know now, I didn't know how to handle it, so I just repressed it. And so in my first process, I was able to release that fear, which I've never felt since then, And the most profound thing about the journey was feeling this love inside of me. And that just allowed me just to be that love. Because because that's what I knew now that I really am. And whatever behavior or thoughts that were there before that could just be stripped away.
On my practitioner's course, at that time the cancer was there just for about 3 months. And in that course, I think knowing that you got the cancer and there's nothing to lose now, you know, it's life or death. And that's what led me to this complete surrender, complete letting go of whatever needed to be. Sometimes I feel like I've only been living for the last 2 years, because the peace that you find, you know, never mind there's so much of turmoil outside, but the peace that you find within yourself, it's so hard to explain to somebody else what it really feels like, you know. And that's what this journey has taught me. It's to find that inner peace, and that's where we all need to be and to live from.